Okay, I did it again. I forgot to leave enough time for the explanation of mechanics. I'll try to be better at that in the future. So you see the 3 pie slices: blue square, red heart, and the green arrow on the way on the other side. At 66 and 33%, this Vale Guardian breaks into a blue, green, and red mini bosses. Condition people go to heart, usually 2 or 3, and everybody else goes to square. So when you fight this boss, you need a tank, which is toughness based, which I am running tonight. And when the fight starts, some mechanic you gotta watch out for is periodically blue circles will form underneath your feet, and you need your border of your screen will go yellow. If you're standing on them, move off of them or dodge away from them. One thing you can do is when the fight starts is see the circle of this disc, the circumference, an invisible shield pops up a couple seconds after it starts, and you can dodge into it without going out of the arena and thus avoid that, which is helpful for when you're tanking. If you don't dodge, you get teleported to some random spot, so watch out for those. Another mechanic is greens, which we're ignoring. We're going to heal through those, and of course there's those 2 red seekers. See the blue? I moved off of that, so I'm going to stay right here. DPS wants to kind of stay behind the boss. And see it's glowing. I'm going to dodge. I missed that. The green over the left hand corner. See that's going to go, so I'm going to try and save my healing burst for when that comes up. Plus you need CC for this. See my border of my screen was glowing. I dodged the last second. Usually I have about 3 quick seconds, like 1, 2, 3 to dodge. So here comes the green. I'm going to get ready for another healing burst. And there it goes. The way to stop the greens is you have 4 to 5 people and dodge right there. Yep, you have 4 to 5 people stand in them. We only really worry about greens when you're doing the split phase over at blue square or in phase 3. So he's 66%, he's phasing. Unfortunately green came up, so we're going to try and heal through that. And usually it's the tank's job to go over and grab the green guardian that spawns at the green pillar where the green arrow is. So I'm going to aggro this guy, bring him over. See, now you're going to see we're going to grab the greens and nobody takes a lot of damage. Those red seekers, when they pop on you, they do... Someone stepped off the green, but that's okay. They do a lot of damage. I have someone down over here. I'm going to go res him. The other thing is you see above my head the attunement color. It's blue. If you leave blue and go into a different area like red, you take a lot of damage, but if you stay in the area you're in, you don't take as much damage because you're attuned to that guardian color. Okay? And when you DPS these mini bosses down to 0 health, you get a break bar, you have to CC. Alright, phase 2. You tank in the same spot, but now you get these, see the wedges, see the green is glowing, it's going to go clockwise around. So I'm going to stay right here and tank, and then when it swaps, we're going to go to the right on the other side. He goes into CC phase right after. When this guy goes into CC phase, he throws a lot of damage out, and that's embarrassing. I got down, but nobody's perfect. Alright, thank you peeps for bringing me back up. So you see it's right next to us, so you tank right here and get my burst ready for green. I'm going to dodge that. So I don't get ported, and now I'm going to move to the right because the energized plate is going to change to the plate we are on. DPS overall was good because we finished right off. A green's coming, get ready for a burst, and I'm going to stay off the port. Okay, good. CC. Good. Don't need stability here, so I swap my stability out for the signet of power. Okay, split phase at 33. Let's get to the green. Can't make it, but we can still heal up. Okay, we got a couple peeps down. Okay, I got a green attunement, but that's okay. I'm a healer. I can handle it. Okay, so now we're gonna again you pull them back over here so you can DPS them down at once. And during the split phase, I want to add that make sure you have a boon rip, because when the blue guardian first spawns, he won't take damage till you rip the boon off him that prevents him from taking damage. And the green one is also spawning the blue circles that teleport you. So you see each of these little guardians, and you see it in the pre-event where you come up here, they have separate abilities with the seekers, the circles, and the greens. When they're all together in Vale Guardian, he does all 3. So third phase, you stack right about star. He's going to come out within a couple seconds, just like second phase. He's going to go into CC mode. We are going to CC him down, and then as soon as you see the glowing to my left of that green panel and the blue panel go away, we need to move to the left onto that next panel, because now it's going to be blue and red glowing and doing damage if you're on those glowing areas. Seekers are a pain. We usually knock them back or use lines of warding and such. Sometimes you get lucky when you're going around and you'll have a green circle close by, and when that happens, you usually will take it. Okay, I'm going to move the boss again, dodge through the Seeker. And it's notorious, you got to be watch out for pulls on this, especially Guardian Axes. It's easy to pull the Seekers in. I don't think I saw any of that today, but just so you know. Okay, dodge, done. Okay, and so this was a 1 pull. This was a very good job. He's at 9%. We got CC move. See the panel starting to glow. He's coming over. And I'm going to dodge. And I'm not even going to need to move because my man is toast. And this raid boss is done. Great job, everybody. Well played, and only had 2 deaths for the first pull. First time for a few of these folks. I thought that was great. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, next up, first part of Spirit Run. So in this first area, after you kill those 4 or 5 ads down there, champs and other ads spawn. Stability is good here. And what basically the whole object of this area is periodically around the corners of the map, and then these nodes that spawn that you have to cap before you get to this glowing orb that kind of slowly drops towards the ground. You need to cap before the orb hits the ground, or you blow up. There are many different ways to do it. Some people use mesmers and portals because you have the adrenal mushroom, so if you have Heart of Thorns masteries, you can just refresh your skills. So portals do make it easier, but they're unnecessary. We're not going to use portals for this. And this is an emboldened wing, by the way, I forgot to mention that, so it makes it a little bit easier. And so you just use quickness, swiftness, and stability, which I gotta change my bar in a second, I'll put back on, and just run from area to area. Kill stuff a little bit on the way, but your main focus is just capping. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this party started. Okay, squad's readied up. We're gonna drop in. Take out these guys. I had markers on it. Someone's idea was a good idea, and then I remembered why I didn't like putting markers, because if you look at my mini-map, which is how I look for the little flags to pop up, it's hard for me to see them, so I have to constantly rotate the camera. So that's why I don't use markers, but I'd forgotten, because it is a good idea, but for me, I've always relied on the mini-map, so not so good. But it is good when you're directing people where to run, or just follow tags. So we're going up here. So this is basically it. You're going to run from area to area, and just cap nodes, and they do a lot of things that slow you. So I'll use, I just regenerated that adrenal mushroom. I use stand your ground. I'll also use tome 3 for the stability there and for the dome of reflection. Okay, and I just keep the boons up, and this goes on from when you see the upper right hand corner. Just you have to close as many rifts as happens. Sometimes you get lucky that they'll spawn right in the same spot. It's kind of like a give me. But it's a lot of running, and I'll spare you all the boring, but that's the gist of it. You do it until you get them all capped. So you go from one to the next to the next to the next. See, I use a shield and those sorts of things. Okay, capping the last node, and after this node we are going to go to the next area, which is just basically a pretty easy room. We just got to kill a bunch of ads to open the gate to the next area. So some people grab that adrenal mushroom, refresh your skills. I'm just going to run down. So you run across the bridge, and you go to the last column in the middle on the left hand side, and we're going to stack here. And that champion's going to spawn to our left. There he is. And you're just going to stay here, pull him in, and just fight most of the ads here. Okay, while we fight this and clear this, and the gate opens, so I'm going to give you the lowdown on the next area. So the next area, you're going to run to a balcony, and after everybody ready checks up, you're going to jump off. And as you run through this area, a couple things happen. You have to do it quickly, because as soon as you start, there's this invisible wall that follows you, and if it catches up to you, it's like a wall of spirit energy. You automatically die. Okay, and then after, so that's one of the mechanics. The other one is periodically be invisible walls that you have to DPS down to break down so you can continue forward before the wall catches you. And remember those nodes in the last area, they're going to be those that pop up as we go. So the typical strategies here is you have people, your supports will stay back and cap nodes, and DPS will go ahead. And there's also an achievement here. If someone runs the torch, there's one back there on the wall. That's where you get the torch, and you run it to the end and put it in the sconce at the end. So we're going to ready check up, and then we'll get this started. Okay, here we go. Ready checks up, and when they check up, everybody glides. You want to glide as far as you can, and again, you're going to see have your peeps stay back here. Your supports, DPS will go. In the next area, there's a couple more rings, but in the second ring, the ring close to the wall, it's close enough, even though it doesn't look like it's right up next to it, it's close enough to be able to hit it with melee range stuff. I'm sorry, not this one, the following one, where DPSs can cap that ring and still take out the wall. So that's in the next section. And again, you want stability, reflex, all that stuff here, projectile destruction, all kinds of stuff is quite useful. Okay, so first ring again, supports, DPS going. See that second ring up ahead? It's close enough to the wall, even though it doesn't look like it, to hit the hitbox of the wall on melee weapons. And this is the wall you want to watch when it goes down. It's kind of like a bridge over a river. You want to make sure you jump and don't fall off, or it is instant death if you fall in that river. I used to fall in this all the time. So make sure you glide across. This last one, what I do is I have one DPS that runs ahead of us. We'll stop and hold the rings further up on us. There is a way around this to shortcut this with experienced groups with high DPS using a Mesmer portal, but we're not doing that here because it's training. So you see our DPS is going, starting that ring, and then we're going to go. Okay, and then this one was kind of close. I didn't know if it was going to explode. Sometimes you have a Mesmer that'll drop a portal there too. Okay, after you finish off this wall, next area you have to stand on I think 4 or 5 buttons. I think it's 5 buttons. And I tried to put the markers up. One is across a jumping puzzle, another one's in another way up. And I learned a new way to get across to one area I never noticed before that someone had showed me. So learn something new. Even though I'm training doesn't mean I have the market corner on every way to do stuff, so it's nice to learn something new. So come up, you have the jumping puzzle over to the left there. See the guy gliding to the right? I didn't realize you could glide across that way. I never thought of it. I usually just go across the jumping puzzle here on the tree. Mostly because I tried, if I failed, usually you land on that platform anyways, but I like how he did that. Okay, and so you have one over there where my arrow is on this, just put the star, so I have the markers there with all the plates are, and everybody stepped on the plates, and so they got the, we cleared the next area, so you get the chest. So down here, see this says brazier there, they just put that there, a chest appears here, open this and you get an achievement. So you have to successfully run the torch through the whole gamut of, and gauntlet of that spirit run in that room without dropping the torch or dying, and you can do that. So following these people, if you have bouncing mushroom mastery, there's a couple extra chests you can get through here. You're going to bounce up, glide to the small top of this pillar here, and then you're going to glide to this balcony, jump off, and on the other side you are going to see the second chest that you can get over here. Then usually people do is just GG. If you're new to this, to reset you do /GG. That's what we do, and then we'll get back to the next boss, which is Gorseval. And I'm going to teleport back. And right here you're going to glide across. Just don't run too far into the arena because you will start the boss fight. So this boss is like the other bosses, toughness based for tank. So your tank is going to be highest toughness and go stand on the other side of him. Everybody else stays behind him. And what he does when it first opens is he'll do a roundhouse swipe, and then after that his second attack, he raises his hand up high, it slams it down, so you want to use stand your ground or some kind of stability. To avoid that, Aegis also works, but usually your healers will bring some kind of stability, or your quickness. If you have an lack healer doesn't have stability, we use stability to offset that, because getting knocked back means a DPS drop, and this is kind of a DPS check. And what does that mean? It means at certain points, if you don't DPS high enough, you will fail. Instant wipe. So the mechanics are, if he will do the swipe, do the slam, he attacks, and then he goes in to gets a CC bar. When he gets a CC bar, he starts slamming the ground with his hands like he's having a tantrum. And there's going to be this black goop that spawns in certain rings around him. Try not to stand in it. Usually on the first couple passes, it's away from the players, away from the boss, and it spawns right on the boss. When you're in that goop, or when he's in the CC phase, he also has like a reflect skill, so it reflects damage back. So it's important. The first bar doesn't really matter when you break, but if you're in a low DPS group, you want to slow that breaking of that bar, because after you break the bar, you get a limited amount of time to DPS him to either 66 or 33 or finish the fight. Or he does this channeling, expanding AoE that goes to the edge of the arena. If it makes the edge of the arena, everybody wipes. At 66 and 33% phase, there is a split phase, and you see the 4 markers up there: arrow, circle, heart, square. If at these phases, 4 ghostly figures will spawn and will move towards Gorseval. You have to kill all 4 before they reach them. Many different ways to do it. The most recent one is you have one subgroup take 2 markers, whether it's arrow, circle, arrow, heart, or whatever. Then the other one will take the other 2 markers. And in that subgroup, it's good to have one player, if your DPS isn't high enough, that's got chill or immobilize or cripple or whatever, to go on that other ghost that your party's not on yet, to slow it down so you can DPS both before it reaches Gorseval. This one took 2 pulls. On the first pull, we barely missed a ghost getting in there. So those are the mechanics. After 33%, from 33% on, he is going to spawn what they call eggs. There's going to be an orange AoE that appears on each player periodically. You're going to want to walk or dodge off of them, not into another player's egg, because if you're caught in the eggs, you again, DPS loss, especially when it's critical. The other thing to watch out for during the ghost phase, and I think after the first or second ghost phase, it happens periodically anyway, there'll be these blue orbs called something like spheres or secrets of darkness. They have an expanding AoE. If you touch that AoE, you get a ghostly debuff that's a white ghost and a purple border above your skill bar, which means your damage is pretty much nothing at that point. So you want to run and grab, I think it's 4 or 5 little golden orbs that'll spawn, just to take care of that. And here I am just telling him where to go. Alright, waiting for the raid check. There it is. So I'm going to run to the far side. He's going to do a roundhouse punch. There it is. Now stand your ground. He's going to slam the ground. Perfect. Okay, and so now I'm just going to stay here. They're going to work on him from the back. And now here comes the CC tantrum phase. See the black goop further out. We stay in there. And for this group, I didn't worry about CCing too fast or holding CC because DPS was good. So you see 83, 82 is about where you want to be. Now he's going to do another swipe, stand your ground, because here comes the slam, and in a second he's going to do expanding AoE. We gotta give him 66%. We might even beat it. Yeah, he didn't even really start. So now the 4 spirits, we're going to arrow. That's my group. So right there, they're called charged souls. And I think I've got someone over on, yep, he's keeping that slow at chill and such, so that's good, and we DPS this one pretty quick, so it's not an issue. Now we're going to grab this one. He had a great job, the other guys on the other side, keeping those souls slowed and chilled and immobed, so nice work everybody on those. And I'm just getting into position. Okay, swipe, stand your ground, slam, done. Okay, and here we go, getting charged back up. So when they go through the phase of CC and people hitting, we have all the reflecting of the damage. That can be really challenging on the healers. We had good heals. So see that those blue orbs, or the spirit of darkness or whatever, they're spectral darkness. So they're going to have, see the blue expanding rings. If you remember, if you get caught in those rings, you get that ghostly debuff. See those gold orbs that are out there? Those are the ones you grab if you get that ghostly debuff. Okay, so just gonna swipe, stand your ground. Good. Okay, and now 33. So you didn't even get to see the expanding AoE, which is fine, but it'll expand, and you want to get him down as soon as possible. So again, now it's more challenging. You got to watch out for the expanding AoEs from the darkness dudes, the spectral darkness. Usually a ranged person will take those out, because obviously you don't want to melee it, because then you lose it right there. Almost walked right into it. Usually gives you a grace period of walking into it. See, now you see that little ring. There it comes. Okay, this guy got kind of close. Charged soul, clutch, but we got it. Then I can take my position opposite the party. Swipe, stand your ground. I didn't have it, so I'm going to use stability from my tome. because we just burned them. There's the eggs, you see that? The orange circles, move off them. A couple people got caught. Bust them out as soon as you can. Swipe, he's got his another one, stand your ground. Nope, he faked me out. Okay, here we go. Now the goop forms right on him. And you see how everybody the bars just start sinking? That's between the goop and the reflect effect. Okay, CC. And we ended up right where we wanted. You usually want to end up to at least 18% for DPS. I thought he's gonna swipe. Oh, Easter eggs first, that's right. Oh, just eggs now, stand your ground, done. And then of course you see little ads there, the spirit. Some people use pulls to cleave them down. Usually you can just ignore them. And that was very well fought, my friends. See, now he's charging. See the AoE expanding? If that makes it to the edge, you lose. But we didn't. So I'm glad you got to see that. Okay, so this next part is just a pre-phase where you will run and stack at the stairs over here, kill all the things, and then I'll just show you. So you run through, and you basically just go to the middle of the stairs. And you can see I'm going to get this special action. What it is a bomb that you can throw, and this comes in handy. You can see it appear right there above next to my health bar. You use these when you stand on a platform to launch you, and I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to finish these guys off, and then we're going to run up to skip the next platform. So these guys burn pretty easy. Everybody stacks there. Now these guys have knockback, so I kept stand your ground on it. I use it periodically throughout the fight with Sabetha. That's our next boss. And we're just going to ignore these bandits and run all the way up to the top. Another fun fact is we did get a couple achievements. We got the running the torch, and we also got the talking to the prisoners at the end. So here, when you get the second platform, you're going to stack. We just stack over by the stairs, and one person can use the platform over there with the bomb on it and launch themselves to the other side and lower the two little swinging platforms to the left. They can lower those as well. But that's just to introduce you to the launch mechanic. And every time you use a launch on the platform, you get a debuff of like 30 seconds or a minute. So you see that person over there, they're going to use that. They launched at their feet and they blow themselves over. We're going to have another person do that. So you come over here when they're clear, but the person that launches over can lower those little platforms, so you can use that to get up over there. So you see we drop it at our feet and it launches us. And now you see that purple debuff I have of the white person seeing stars over my heal skill. Until that's gone and you try and launch yourself with a bomb, you won't. You'll just stun yourself. You have to wait till that's gone to launch again. That's why I use two separate cannons. People to do cannons, which we'll talk about in a second. So you finish clearing out this riffraff, and then we get to Sabetha. So when you go to Sabetha, you're going to see a wooden bridge connecting us to that platform is flying actually. See the propellers? Don't go beyond halfway, because otherwise you'll start the fight. And once you start the fight and move in, this wooden bridge explodes and you're stuck on the platform. So I'm setting up markers: arrow, circle, heart, square. So let's talk about these first. So the first things you got to see with these, the markers are important because that's the order in which cannons become available to blow up. So you'll start at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. That's when it starts at arrow, and every 30 seconds after you're going, or you can say 8 minutes and 25 seconds. 30 seconds just gets you there sooner. If you go out on the 5 seconds, it just gives you more time to DPS. Either way, the first pattern of cannons and bomb throwers is arrow, circle, heart, square. After you complete that rotation, it then goes arrow, heart, circle, square. So you usually choose 2 people to do cannons, DPSers. Actually, you don't want your supports up there if you can help it. Sometimes you have a backup in the squad in case someone dies. So the way we do this is to make it easy on people and to control the flame walls, which we'll talk about in a second. You're usually going to stack between the boss, Sabetha, and where you're going to be throwing the next bomb to launch to the cannon. So we will stack when we start between the boss and arrow. So you're facing the boss, but your back is to arrow. You're between the boss and arrow. And then when you get the bomb, there's some moving around, but typically when you get the bomb, you just turn around and you use your special action. Gives you a reticle. You can aim a target, drop that on that platform where the person's standing, and it'll launch them up, throw it at them. So the thing to know about the bombs is everybody, well, I'll do it first, it's like you feel like you gotta run right up to the platform, do it. You don't. You can basically come a third of the way off the boss towards that platform, and that bomb will have a range that will reach that, so you don't have to run all the way across excuse me, to get that to happen. Okay, so let's say we do that, and then after that one's done, we'll immediately, and I made this call out in there, you're gonna stack towards circle. And then same thing, when the bomb comes up, you turn around toward a circle, then you stack towards heart, stack towards square, and then back to arrow, and then heart, and then circle, square. Okay, so that is the bombs. Her mechanics are this: you need someone, so the person that's furthest away needs to, she's going to use a skill called flak. It just throws this molten lava stuff that stays on the platform while it does mega damage. So this isn't one where everybody can stack right on the group. And there is no toughness base for this because she just stays in the middle. So you usually stay, if you're flat kiting, I end up doing it. It's a little bit more challenging on healer, but you can make it work. And usually you choose a ranged DPS to do that. And they just stay out, and what you want to do is, I try to flak between where they're, to the counterclockwise or the previous bomb place. So for instance, when we're on arrow, I'm stacking between arrow and square, so your cannon person doesn't have to run through flak to get to the bomb. Another of her attacks is periodically a random person will, I think it's closest to her, will get this AoE. You'll hear a beep in your sound, and also sound of a fuse burning down. And you have an AoE around you, just move it off the party. It's timed out and explodes. You don't take any damage, but if you don't get off the party takes a boatload of damage. So make sure you do that. And then periodically little kegs, powder kegs, will appear on the platform. You're going to want to walk up and interact with them. You just kick them off where they explode. Because the whole idea of the cannons and this powder kegs on the platform is a platform when the fight starts has a health bar. If the health bar on the platform is reduced to 0 before you finish the boss, the platform blows up and you wipe. Then her most main attack that she does that you gotta watch out for is a flame wall. She'll pick a random player to use a flame wall, so if you're all stacked in a line between her and the place you gotta throw the bomb, it's easier to avoid the flame walls and have them where you want them to be, so it's easier to get the bombs to the cannons, to the people going to the cannons, and vice versa. If you're the cannon person, you're flying back, watch out where the flame wall might be, because you can fly right into it. You can port through it, like to the other side if you're careful. And I think you could even distort it, although I wouldn't try unless it's an emergency. If you're fighting the boss, you still want to do damage as you go around. The flame wall goes, it lands and it spins counterclockwise. Just be careful, don't get too close to her, because sometimes you can get in the hitbox of that flame wall, and then you get hit by the flame wall, it's instant death. 75, 50, and 25%, she disappears to one of the cannon platforms, and one of her lackeys comes in. First one, I can't remember what he does, you just DPS him down, he's pretty easy. Second one gets a CC bar. If you don't break the CC bar, he does a skill at a certain period of time that knocks you up in the air, then blows you back with the intent to blow you off the platform. So make sure you get him. The third guy does a lot of damage. He spawns like an Engie with a bunch of flamethrower turrets. You can usually ignore the turrets. And so that is basically all the mechanics. And so now I'm going to cut to the area where we start, and I'm going to do the callouts like I would in game as closely as I could, so it just helps you do this. I know it's a brain dump, but it makes sense with the callouts. Alright, ready to check this up? Let's get into this. We did this in 3 pulls. Again, I think this group was amazing. So you see I get that AoE with a bomb. I'm going to move off party, plus some flat kite. I'm going to stay far back. So with this, and they're going to stack towards arrow. So you see them stacking between the boss and arrow. That's perfect. And with this, what I have to do, if you're flat kiting, you have a moment after she shoots it to get back in before she shoots the next round. Good job with these guys trying to get party, but you saw they caught a couple. See the damage it does. That's why we keep those off. So now I'm getting in line because here comes a flame wall. Okay, now we're going to do our cannon 1 to arrow. I got the bomb, I'm going to throw it, see how it lands on him, and he's up in the air on the cannon. Now we're going to stack towards circle. So when the flamethrower is going, or when the lackey's out, you don't have to worry about flak. And so here, trying to stack off to the side, although not successfully. but it should be gone by the time you need to go to cannon. So if you look at the timer up in the right hand corner, you see when it hits the 8 minutes, I'm calling my next person to head to cannons, because at about 8:50, 7:55, someone gets a bomb. There's that powder keg I get rid of. Oh, I think I confused him with heart. They went to the wrong one, but that's okay. I was going to try and go up, but we couldn't, but that's okay. So now the next one is going to be heart. So your cannon 1 guy goes to arrow and heart on this turn. So there's the flame wall. Oops, someone got caught, and that's okay. We're going to go around, and that's the challenging part about getting caught in this. So now we stack towards heart. I'm still trying to deflect kite flak, and now our heart person's already up there, so now we're going to move towards square. So you see now those AoEs that are spawning, those are the cannons, and they're the ones that are doing damage. You look at the platform top boss bar with the X's, that's one we don't want to do bad things with. So now we're stacked towards square, and flame wall is going to spawn in a minute, and this one's going to be challenging, so the person's going to run around, and my cannon 2 person headed over there, had the bomb, they're going to launch themselves up. Nice job. Flame wall's out, now we stack towards arrow again. Perfect, see they moved the bomb off the party. Dynamite job, you guys. Okay, now I can come back in, and our arrow guy is going to go up in about 3 seconds. Up right hand corner, see that time remaining. Remember, it's every 30 seconds. Okay, I see that thing you interact with, the bomb, and they're going to throw that at the powder keg and launched him up. Good job. Now we're going to stack towards heart, because remember the rotation changes. Watch out for the flame wall. See how you, if it's still a red arrow, you can dodge past it, and that's okay. That way you don't have to be chased around, but just be careful of your timing. Okay, about 5 seconds till heart's going to go. Our cannon's going to go to heart. Bomb off party. Good job. So you can see if I keep trying to dodge in to give them heals and boons. Okay, so our person's on heart. They're going to throw the bomb to them, and we're going to stack towards circle, because remember it goes back to circle now. And the other part about not getting cannons done, it also does damage to people in addition to the platform. Okay, I got the bomb. Nobody at circle. We missed that one. That's okay. And really at this point, I told them to wait, because you can go, you get a second one, so there they are. Good job. Now we stack towards square. And both of them, great job getting the bombs off. But if you are running bombs, nobody did it to me, but sometimes it's easy to not see where your kiter is, and you can actually blow your kiter up, so watch out for that as well. Okay, now we have the last guy coming in, and here comes 5 minutes, so we need someone at square for cannons. And sometimes you get an extra bomb, like it's not during the time, you can waste it. So someone forgot and missed the bomb, it's okay. When you're new, you miss all that stuff, but we have her low enough that we can just DPS down. So you get the boss down to used to be like 10%, you just skip. Oh, I told them to wait for that one too, never mind. Okay, so they went up, good. So I think that's the last cannon we get, because we missed the next one. I tell them not to worry about it, because we have emboldened and DPS is pretty good at this point. And looking at the health of the platform, and this was the last phase for her, we're just going to DPS her down. And it's pretty standard out, 20 to 25%. You can just ignore the cannon mechanic if you have good healers and such and good DPS, and just finish her off. So we're going to do that. So see, I got a bomb I don't need, I'm just going to waste it. And I told him let's just finish this action, and we did. Again, bomb I don't need. Watch out for the flame wall. And I'm sure this video is like boring to watch, but it does have a lot of help for you to, if you really want to learn this and some mechanics. I just really think we have good callouts and good detail on what to expect. So that was a very good run. That's wing 1. If you go across the bridge and up on the other side there, you can find some prisoners to unlock and a chest to open. There's also a spot where cooking station where you can make a Seamus's bloodstone meat pie that you can use at the last boss of wing 2 to get a special achievement, because it reduces health and healing. Either way, that was it. I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for my amazing group and you guys coming as well. And I hope you all have a most excellent day.